How's it going, everyone? Shifty here, and I'm back with another Destiny 2 video. About a week ago, I posted a video showing how to do the Legend Veles Labyrinth Lost Sector solo on any class in under 1 minute and 40 seconds. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a new build to run it on any class in around 1 minute and 30 seconds, and this build doesn't even include an exotic weapon. I should note that this setup is better suited for those closer to the recommended power level. Before I get into it, if you end up enjoying the video, then hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright, so the build I used is nearly identical for all three classes. The Warlock and Titan setup are the same, but the Hunter is a little bit different. Let's go over what I used on my Warlock and Titan run. For weapons, I have the Night Watch Scout Rifle, then I have the First In, Last Out Slug Shotgun, and for my heavy weapon, I went with the Bequest Sword from the Deepstone Crypt raid. If you don't have this sword, there is one in the World Loot drop table called Honor's Edge that can get an identical roll to this one, and it does arc damage just like Bequest. The shotgun and sword both get a 50% damage boost since arc damage is increased in this lost sector. There are several armor mods that are important to this build. I'll start from the top down on my Warlock, and I want to note that I use similar mods on my Titan. In my helmet, I have Sword Ammo Finder and Protective Light. Protective Light isn't required, but it is very helpful in the run. In my arms, I have the Anti-Barrier Scout mod and the Disrupting Blade mod. Now, you may be wondering why I have a mod for Overload Champions when this Legend Lost Sector doesn't have any. That's because it makes it so my sword can disrupt enemies, and when an enemy is disrupted, their damage is reduced by about 43%. Then in my chest, I have two melee damage resistance mods since I'll be right up next to enemies with my sword and shotgun. In my legs, I have Sword Ammo Scavenger and Taking Charge. Taking Charge helps me gain charges of light when I pick up orbs of power, so I can utilize Protective Light. Then in my bond, I have the Passive Guard and Infernal Whip mods. Passive Guard gives me even more damage reduction when I have my sword out. Infernal Whip allows my solar melee to stagger the unstoppable champion. Since I'm using Infernal Whip on my Titan and Warlock, I need to use a solar subclass, so for my Warlock I went with Top Tree Dawnblade, and on my Titan I went with Bottom Tree Sunbreaker. Now I want to go over the differences for my Hunter setup. I didn't want to use a solar subclass, so instead I went with Top Tree Night Stalker. Since I'm not using a solar subclass, I can't use Infernal Whip for the unstoppable champion. Instead, I swapped Night Watch out for a hand cannon, and I swapped the Anti-Barrier Scout Rifle mod with the Unstoppable Hand Cannon mod. Otherwise, everything else is the same. I did use Wormhusk Crown to give myself a little bit of health when I used my dodge, and honestly, you could use the same setup on a Warlock or Titan if you don't want to use a solar subclass. While there are barrier champions in this Legend Lost Sector, you don't need anti-barrier rounds because you can reliably kill them with this shotgun and sword. Well, that's all there is to the build. Now I'm going to be showing you a run on each class. There will be timestamps if you want to skip to a particular one, or feel free to check them all out. Let's get into it.